So, in the comic book community for years, Aquaman was a joke. Even the show Entourage understood that.
Bring in the soup.
Huh?
Yeah.
Then they start building this DC universe and they cast Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And you're like, oh, well, guess it could be good. The plot! King Orn, the king of Atlantis, has decided to declare war on the surface world for fucking up the ocean. King Orn's half-brother Arthur now needs to step up, try and stop the war, and do everything he can to take his rightful place as king of Atlantis. And shit gets fishy. No. And shit gets wet. Ugh. And shit gets heroic. Jason Momoa! I mean, come on. I honestly couldn't say one bad thing about this dude. I love him in life. I love him in movies. I just love him. And he's the perfect casting choice for Aquaman. He's perfect. And his humor works too because it's very bro-y without being too frat boy. He's just a dude that likes to drink beer and throw down. And I love how he fights in his fight scenes. He's a brawler. And as the main protagonist of this movie, Jason Momoa is like the glue that holds everything together. I think without him, this would not have been the same movie. Amber Heard! She's the princess of another kingdom under the ocean. And she's the motivator in this movie for Aquaman to follow his destiny. And she's also a very cool character. She has great action scenes and her powers are awesome. King Orm. Patrick Wilson is a great King Orm. He's such a great fit for this character of this royal douchebag. The reasons he has for going to war with the surface world makes sense. But he's still a greedy shithead. Overall, I never thought I would say this about an Aquaman movie. It's awesome. I went into this movie with really, really low expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised. It's definitely a comic book movie through and through, and that includes the good with the bad. Fortunately, this movie's good really outweighs the bad. The scale of the movie is huge. Atlantis and the oceans and all the sets were so big. It's like they took a trilogy and they cut out all the bullshit and condensed it into a 2.5-hour movie. The characters and casting in this movie were great. James Wan's directing was so good. He made a full, complete, satisfying story. The action and the fight scenes were choreographed and they flowed so well. There were a few scenes that were out of place that I could have done without. Some of the dialogue was very cheesy. I was surprised with the CG. It could have been a lot worse than it was. It wasn't bad at all. Overall, I kind of love this movie. It was incredibly enjoyable. Rapid fire review. Subscribe!